Hey everybody, how are we feeling today?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely understand.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know. It is November 27th, uh, Monday, and this is our episode 2 of the Young and the Anxious podcast. So, welcome everybody. um, what? What is that?
Every time I do a thumbs up, it does.
I wonder if that's in the recording. It might be in the recording.
It might be.
Can I do it? Can
Do one.
I? Ah, well, that's lame. I hope it's in the
That's
cutter.
so cool.
Well, I hope it's being recorded because, like, otherwise
That's gonna
it's
be so weird
gonna be-
if
it's gonna
if
look
it's
really dumb.
yeah.
And that was a pretty good intro, so I really
Yeah.
hope that. But anyway, um, we got a lot of really awesome feedback from a lot of people, and which made us super stoked to know that we are reaching, like, we're getting the word out a little bit, whether it be just to a few people or hundreds or whatever it may be. We're really excited that we're getting um, a positive reaction out of people, so it's been nice. Trying to think, like, what's been going on, like, the past week. Not
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving and hope that it was not stressful and just really laid back and everything because I know for a fact like that's a topic that I didn't think I was going to talk about, but um, holidays in general
Mm-hmm.
have always
Been stressful.
been stressful, have always given me a form of or a level of anxiety. Um, just because of all the commotion that happens during, especially this time of year. Like winters are already kind of. Well, I mean, I guess it's still fall, but
Yeah.
the colder months are always a little bit more difficult for people with anxiety and depression because this is the time, at least where we live, this is the time where,
It's dark at like 4 o'clock.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
real. Like, and the thing is, like, it's not even like a good trade off because it's always the sun rises year round between 7 and 8 o'clock,
Yeah.
and so even though we lose an hour, we still
We just lose an hour.
yeah, we purely just lose an hour. So like
Yeah.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and it's like dark outside.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's also typically like again where we live, the weather tends to be rainy and overcast and just like generally gloomy. Um, I mean, with the exception of today, I mean, it was nice and bright, but it's still cold. And I think when it's cold out, people feel trapped.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, because I know that happens to me. Like, I'll feel a little claustrophobic,
Mm-hmm.
and and I love the cold weather.
Do you know why though?
I think it's just because like,
Because that happens like at night in the summer.
well, here's the reason. Well, okay, night I feel like is different though.
Yeah.
Because like cold weather, before you go out, subconsciously you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to. Before I go out, you can't just walk outside and be okay.
Yeah.
When I let Rocky out this morning, I, being dumb, because it was, I think, in the like upper 30s. Um, I walked outside in a tank top and shorts,
Mm.
and I was like immediately freezing.
Yeah.
But I think where the anxiety comes from with the colder weather is before you walk outside or go anywhere or anything, you're gonna have to get ready. Like it's a not a chore. It's like a new routine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, well, I need to put on my jacket. I need to make sure, that I'm being warm,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna stay,
Yeah.
warm while I'm out. And I think it's also, I think it's just change.
Mm-hmm.
I think people with anxiety and depression naturally they dislike change.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do. I know you do. A lot of people who I've talked to that deal with anxiety don't like change, whether it's good or bad. I mean, it could be, and I've talked to a couple of people about this, but even like a positive change where say like I play the lottery and I win
Mm-hmm.
the the jackpot. I
Yeah.
win just this
Millions of dollars.
yeah, just this astronomical amount of money. I would still get anxious, even though it's a good thing. It's a happy thing
Mm-hmm.
to now be rich,
Yeah.
but I would still be anxious because it's a change. It's a lifestyle change,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, like because you can have I guess you can consider all changes lifestyle changes because you're going to have to work your life around everything.
Mm-hmm.
But um, I think that big lifestyle changes, moving, um, introducing a new person to the family,
Yeah.
which I'll tell that story in a minute. Even getting like a new pet. Do you know the story I'm going to tell? Okay,
No.
okay. I'll tell everybody. Um, but getting a new pet, introducing someone new to the family of any kind, moving, just things that are going to change your everyday life, not just today.
Mm.
Um, but the story that I was going to say or that I was going to tell was when mom and dad announced that mom was pregnant with you.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
I immediately I was 8. No,
Yeah,
I was 8.
because it would have been 2002.
Yeah, I immediately started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't
It's change.
right. It was changed because
You
I
were
was
confused
yeah
too.
I was used to just me, Alex, and mom and dad.
Yeah.
And so when they announced that, because I had no idea that they were trying to,
Yeah.
to have another kid. So when they announced it, I immediately just started bawling,
Mhm.
and mom took it as like, like, oh man,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
he hates the idea, whatever it is. But that wasn't the case. The case was just it was a lifestyle change,
Mhm.
and I knew things were going to be kind of topsy turvy for a little while.
Yeah.
And so, I think change is a huge um, not a downside. It's just a huge.
There's no.
It's a scary concept.
Yeah, there's no real definition to change. Everybody just knows what that means.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's a big reason why the changing of the seasons,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of reverting all the way back to what we first started talking about, I feel like holidays and big events, especially like Christmas time, Thanksgiving is more laid back, but Christmas it's so fast paced. It's, oh, we got to get the decorations up and they need to look perfect, and
Mm-hmm.
and I mean they don't need to look perfect, but and then we got to think about, okay, well, what are we doing for Christmas Eve? What are we making to eat? Who are we going to invite?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just it's a big it's a conglomerate of just bunch of things happening at once. And again, to people who deal with the anxiety and everything, it's not really depression, but it's the anxiety that comes with the comes with the the constant go during like the late December or late November or like early or throughout December.
Yeah.
I feel like December, especially for me, I don't know about you or mom, but I feel like by the time December's over and New Year's has been celebrated and everything, January is like a rest month for me.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah.
tired because the entire month, especially of December, I'm just like wired because I'm trying to figure out, like, all right, who do I need to get presents for? What do they want? Are they gonna like it?
Yeah.
And then it's putting on, it's going with the, okay, I've got this plan this day for family, I've got this plan for friends, and then blah 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 blah, and it's just one thing after another, and
it's
yeah,
constant go.
yeah, and so I think that's why a lot of people, and well, okay, I think that's why a lot of people will tend to have worse anxiety during these months, but
Yeah.
also, I think it's also the temperature change and just the change in scenery, especially for here, because like what you said, 4 or 5 o'clock rolls around and it's dark,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and but I think that even with anxiety, like naturally, depression comes with anxiety, and so I think when people start to when they say that these are the depressive months, I think people are more referring to like the January, February, March, and May. Depending on where you live, because April can be cold too.
Yeah.
It just.
But also because everything's done. Like all the
Yeah.
holidays are done, so people are like sad about that.
Yeah, there's nothing to look forward to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I think the depression settles in like more January, February, and until it starts to get a little bit warmer out. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I've definitely felt already the kind of like inner shakiness, because of I know everything's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was really laid back for us, which was nice. But I know like Christmas, there's really, you can make Christmas as laid back as you possibly can, but there's really no such thing as a laid back Christmas.
No.
There's always going to be, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, for Thanksgiving, it's, you see family and you guys are sitting around the table and you're eating and you're talking and everything. It's naturally more laid back than the big, the big holiday.
Yeah.
And Christmas comes around and people are, I just feel like things are like more loud, and not to say that like noises bug me. I mean, they do sometimes, just because it's like, damn it, just shut up,
Yeah.
But I think everything is just more loud when it comes to Christmas. The music's louder, whatever's on TV is louder. The people are talking over the music, or the TV, and so they're going to be louder, and just, yeah, I think it's just a huge. But anyway, like, so what I was saying, I don't remember what I was talking about.
Neither do I.
But oh
Neither
well.
do I.
Well, I mean, so we've kind of discussed like the changes of seasons and everything like that, and how that could cause anxiety. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But um, one thing, so I do have another story. Um, so the last one was, of course, in middle school, where the counselor made me do jumping jacks and everything. So here's another one, but this was actually, and I don't know if I've ever told anybody this. So this is like feature, you know, but
Yeah.
this happened. I think I was in first. I think I was in first grade. Um, and I I don't remember. Oh, no. That's what it was. Okay, so you know how you always like in school naturally you with someone who deals with everything, they kind of gravitate towards the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's your
That's like your school parent.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually had a really awesome first grade teacher. Um, her name at the time was Miss Cox. She's married now, and I'm not friends with her or anything. But if anybody's watching this and remembers who she is, it was at Jason McGill in Loganville, and she was just an awesome teacher. And I remember we were at lunch, and I. Uh, I I remember getting super anxious. I was 6 at the time. I remember getting super anxious, and um, I was sitting at the table in the cafeteria, and I like looked around for my teacher, because again, naturally, that's who you look towards. And I couldn't find her. Like, uh, she was probably getting her own lunch. She probably had everybody finally sit down and start eating, and then that's when the teachers would be like, okay, are you guys good for 30 seconds? I'm going to go grab what I want. Well, at the time, I wasn't thinking about that, and so I was like panicking. I was looking around, and I couldn't find her. And so I, everybody talks about the fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was little, my initial reaction is flight.
Mm-hmm.
It is get the out of there, And so that's what I did. I shot up out of my seat, and all the kids are like, "What is Austin doing?" And I remember walking completely out of the cafeteria, and I felt so well. I feel bad now. At the time, I didn't really understand. I felt so, or I feel so bad because I'm crying. I'm panicking. I look like a lunatic. And I'm like, it's the hallway right outside of the cafeteria, and I'm panicking, so I'm really jumpy, and I'm moving really fast and everything, just trying to figure out where my teacher went or whatever. And this class, this t- this teacher is in front of the line, and her and her class walk around the corner, and she sees me, and she literally like guards her kids, and she's like freaking out, like, where the hell did this kid come from?
Yeah.
And why is he acting, like a crazy person? And I just remember like the kids behind her, like looking and being like, are we in danger? And and I remember that, and I remember her like coming up to me, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And then, I mean, 2 minutes later, I'm back sitting at the table. I'm still, you know, energized, or not energized. I'm still freaking out. But when I walked in, the teacher was back. She was back, and she was, or all the teachers sat at like the teacher
Yeah.
table, and so when I came back in, she was like, because I think I ended up telling her I couldn't find my teacher. And so when we walked back in, she was like, do you see her anywhere? And I did, and immediately it was like a
Mhm.
okay, I can relax. Um, and I was able to sit down. I never really ate lunch when I was in school.
Yeah.
It was just I was never hungry. I was always not nauseous, not sick to my stomach, just not hungry.
Mhm.
Um, and but no, I remember that. I remember that so vividly, and I again like today I feel bad because I know I freaked the teacher out big time. Um, but yeah, I mean that was just a short story. I've got, like I said in the previous podcast, I've got a lot more.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I don't think this podcast is going to be very long today. I think we're just going to do a
Another like 6 minutes or so.
yeah, probably yeah, not very much longer. Um, just because again, it's getting around the time where we gotta go and
Do things.
yeah, figure things
Yeah.
out. We've got errands to run, we've got presents to buy, and everything like that. So, um, but I guess in the last bit of the podcast, um, I apologize if people wanted to hear us talk anymore. I know a lot of people are just like, Jesus, stop talking.
Yeah, yeah.
But in the last bit of this, I'll just go ahead and talk to you guys a little bit. So we are going to try to do weekly podcasts, but it might turn out to be bi-weekly. Um, we might also switch to just audio right now. It might be a little bit easier on us to just record our voices and then um, post that, and then when we really get a full setup, because we don't want to stay just on the couch
Mm-mm.
talking to you guys. And so we were thinking about getting a setup to where it's purely audio, and so you guys don't have to sit down and be watching on a screen or whatever. You guys can drive and listen to us, or you can do chores around the house and listen to us. You don't have to be constantly looking at us. But that's our plan for right now. Again, everything's kind of up in the air. It's only our second episode, so we're just still trying to figure things out. But I can't thank you guys enough for the amount of support that we've already gotten. Um, it's been a huge, um, it's been a huge honor, I guess. It's been a no, that's
Huge.
not. It's been very uplifting to get the positive feedback from you guys, for sure. Because when starting off with something like this, putting ourselves out there for everybody to see and everybody to hear, and telling personal stories about our childhood, or even what's been going on, with us lately, and talking about something as sensitive as mental health and everything. It's hard for us to put ourselves out there naturally, and so to hear that, or to see that people give a damn about this is super super positive to us, and it's super like I said, uplifting. So we do have, for people who don't want to watch us on Facebook, we do have a YouTube page. It's called The Young and the Anxious. If I remember, I will
Put the link.
Yeah, put the link in this week's bio. And of course, if you guys like what you're already watching, you can join us on the Facebook group, the Young and the Anxious. And
We'll put that in the YouTube's
the
description.
Yeah, we'll put all that in the description. I'm not going to sit here and be like, turn on that bell and like and subscribe. I'm not going to say that. I don't want people to feel
obligated.
Right. I don't want people to feel like they're made to do anything. If they like us, great, then they'll naturally subscribe. But if they don't want to hear us anymore, they won't subscribe. I'm not gonna be like, get, talk to us in the comments. I'm not gonna engage you guys like that. If you guys want to talk to us, absolutely, I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys outside of the podcast for sure. And maybe one podcast we'll read some comments and everything. But I know from the bottom of our hearts we just love the fact that you guys are giving us this positive push towards doing what we want to do. It's not for clout, it's not for anything. I really wanted to get people on the same page with people who deal with anxiety on a daily basis. I wanted people who don't to realize like it's legitimate, and it sucks every day. It's never, anxiety is never like a fun thing to experience. So I'm really glad that we are getting a little bit of a message out, so people can, maybe it'll become a household topic, and people will check. That's another, before we go, that's one thing that I wanted to bring up is always, 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 always check on your friends and family. Always. It does not matter what, how long you've gone without talking to them. It doesn't matter how far they live from you. Always check on your friends and family, because I put on a smile every day. Not to say that it's not real sometimes, but in outside settings, when I'm running errands or I'm working or whatever it may be, and I got to put on a smile. So because I naturally think, okay, people don't want to see this panicky guy, and so people will wave, and I'm just like, hi. People ask me, how are you doing? And I'm like, fine, thank you. And then I'll just go about my my day. So you never know who is really going through it, and maybe we'll talk about that on the next podcast. But just a reminder for everybody: always check on your friends and family, see how they're doing, because maybe they won't open up to you, but chances are they'll. If you really don't hound them, of course, but if you talk to them in a caring manner and you are legitimately like interested, they'll open up and they'll feel comfortable with you to open up. And it's just a really, really important thing to do. A lot of people go days, weeks, sometimes months without being checked on mentally, and it can be a huge detriment to their health. So that's a huge thing that I would like to end the podcast on. But anyway, well, we're done for today, or for this episode. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoy this episode like what you guys did the last one. This one's a little bit shorter, but we'll pick it back up either next week or the week after, and we'll just keep the ball rolling with this. And again, maybe we'll go with just audio, so it'll be a little bit easier for people to watch or listen to, tune into. And yeah, that's it. I don't really have anything. I don't really have any closing statements. So, closing statements, there's that thing again.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a courtroom. I don't know why I keep saying that, but bye guys. We love you. We love you. So stay safe out there. Stay sane.
We need y'all.
We do. 100%. We need you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys at some point. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.